Well, finally, college football is coming back to Boulder, Colorado. The prime era is underway, and we come to you for the Post Chicken and Beer in downtown Boulder. Great day. We got a great crowd out here today. You guys look fantastic, by the way. You look like you're ready for college football. You know that? Yes, no doubt about it. And I tell you what, it all kicks off on Saturday. It's an early game, the big noon game on Fox. We'll have it on the Colorado Football Network. Gary Barnett, Bobby Passavano, and yours truly get things underway at 8 o'clock a.m. Mountain Time. From down at Fort Worth, Texas, Colorado takes on number 17 TCU. And then at 10 o'clock, Coach Prime and the Buffaloes will kick off against a team that played for the national championship a year ago. Coming up the program, we got Coach Prime. He's right behind us. He's going to be working his way out here any second. And we'll have him for the first half hour of the show. And then we've got Coach Flea. Gary Harrell's going to join us for the assistant coaches segment. He's the assistant head coach. And also Anthony Hankerson is going to be joining us as well. Buff running back. And, boy, if you've had – obviously you guys have been following what's been going on with the football team and what Coach Prime has been able to do. The turnover on the roster, a lot of new faces, a lot of talent. I've been at many of the practices. It's a great-looking football team, and there's a lot of excitement. And I think you guys can feel it as well, can't you? I mean, well, that's why you're here today. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And I've been saying the number of interviews I've done around the country. Somebody asked me the other day on ESPN, they said, what's it been like in Boulder since December 4th when Coach Prime was hired? I said, it's like a tsunami. Is it Boulder, Colorado? I mean, it's been overwhelming, and it's affected every aspect of the athletic department. I mean, the first time since 1996, rather, we've got sold-out season tickets at Colorado. So you guys have done a great job in that regard. Obviously, for those of us involved in kind of the marketing arm, you know, with the radio broadcast, all the TV things that we do, and all the signage, we've seen the unbelievable response there from sponsors and endorsements and donations. We just saw news about that here just a couple of days ago. It has been an amazing response with what Coach Prime has done since he got to town here. Coach is coming out? He's coming out right now? Oh, well, let's do it. He's coming out from right behind. Let's bring in Coach Prime. What's up, Coach? Got a great crowd here at the Post today. And by the way, I need to mention, Buffs Prime Time is brought to us by Aflac. I think Coach knows a little something about the folks over at Aflac. We'll let him get his headphones on. And by the way, just for the record here, we've got Coach Prime sitting next to me, obviously. We started calling this Buffs Prime Time about 10 or 11 years ago. So I don't know, the Cosmos knew you were coming, apparently. I thought.
Kind of missed on that for 10 years.
We were just trying to get it right by the time you got here. How are you?
I'm tired right now. I'm sorry. I get up so darn early in the morning, and I get over there at the school really early. We're in the meetings at 7:15,
Sure.
and we've been out there working. So now we're ready, to get on the plane and go get it on.
That's a great spot to kind of. There you go.
Yeah.
And we're taking off tonight. We're going down to Buffs to practice in Fort Worth tomorrow. Then a game, as you mentioned.
We want to practice because we want to get acclimated to the heat.
Sure.
We do this thing we call 24 till. So if the game starts at 11 a.m. In Dallas, we're going to practice at 11 a.m. Then we account for the 24 hours till the kickoff, so we could make sure we account for all those kids' times. Because, you know, young kids 18 to 22, 24, you got to make sure you account for their time.
There's no doubt about it.
I was a kid before, so I know what they do.
Hey, you talk about getting to the office early each and every day. What's an average day for Coach Prime? What does it start for you, and how does it unfold all day long?
Let me see. I probably get up 4:45.
I was going to say, you got to be an early
Yeah,
riser.
I get up 4:45, and I get to the office fairly early, and I just, I calm myself down and pray and think through the day. Then I come up with a morning theme, or either I come up with it the night before to give the guys a 3 to 5 minute video that they watch during the morning meeting, and it kind of get them going. Then I elaborate from that video on the theme of the day.
Okay.
Yeah, then we get going. Even though the meeting started at 7:15, I always start about 7:10, 7:08, something like that. Trying to just train these young men to be on time as men when they grow up, and because everybody's not going pro, and you're going to have a job, you're going to have something that you really got to be on time with.
So your idea is to start them not necessarily with the football, but more kind of life type deal.
Yeah, everybody's going through life things. I'm sorry.
Right.
See, if somebody would have did that at my meeting, I would have threw them out. Hey, Sam, call Coach Ray, please. That could be a recruit, so I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah, so we just trying to prepare them for life.
Okay.
And then we add the football into it.
Yeah.
And then we break. We have special teams. Then we get the day started. But then the day may go on to, well, camp is over, thank God, because it was long days. I mean, they had evening meetings as well and watched film. So the kids went out of there to some 8 o'clock. So you imagine that morning till like 8 p.m. or 9 p.m.
Right.
Yeah, but now the thing about me, I want the coaches to live a life.
Sure.
I don't want divorces. I don't want separations. I want them to be home to eat with their kids. I want them to be home and eat with their wife and wives. Because if you're there early in the morning, just say 6 o'clock to 6 p.m., that's a long day, man.
You bet it is.
Yeah. Don't tell your wife you was there with me, because you're going to see me at home. I'm probably in the bed by 7:30, right, and I'll probably sleep by 8:30, something like that.
Early riser, early
yes,
bed.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, you just said something that I've always found fascinating about, players that get into coaching. A lot of times when I've asked players about getting into coaching, like, not a chance, man. Those coaches, what they've got to do, the time, the investment, it's nuts.
But that's a lie. I mean, the coaches, if you open the darn door, they probably in there watching Sanford and Son or something like that. It don't take all that. It don't take all of that to be there all day.
So be more efficient.
You don't want to go home.
Right.
You don't want to go home to your wife. You don't want to go home to your kids. They need to be honest. It don't take all of that all day. And I really want our coaches to raise their kids, man. I don't like that. I don't like them over at the complex to the wee hours of the night, and they've been over there since 5:36 in the morning. I don't like that.
Yeah. You're saying be more efficient with what you're doing, essentially.
Well, they're efficient. They just you go home. Go home.
Don't mess around.
Don't mess around. Go home.
Why did you get into coaching?
God has called me to bring solvency to problems.
Okay.
So I didn't just say, hey, I'm going to coach. It didn't happen like that. I was retired, and my youngest sons, because I've always coached my oldest daughter, and Bucky, who does all our social. But now I'm retired, and I'm taking Shiloh and Shador to practice. And I've got the lawn chair, I got the cooler, I'm the real dad, I'm sitting up there chilling. And so the coach have them like 20 yards away from each other. I'm like, somebody's going to get a concussion.
Sure.
So I get up and I go help, and I show them. Then they do some other drill. It's just as severe. Somebody's going to get hurt. So I get up and show them. So about 20 minutes later, I'm running the whole darn practice. So I'm sitting up there thinking, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it my way.
Yeah.
Not your way. I'm not going to be involved in that. I'm going to be the something, and you're going to be involved with what I'm doing. So I started this youth program called Truth, which meant trust in God, respect myself and others, understand I have unlimited possibilities, try my best, never give up, and honor the truth in His creed at all times. And our first tryout at the Cotton Bowl, we had 1,200 kids.
Wow.
And Coach Mathis and Coach Hart has been coaching with me they've been with me for over 20 years. So we've been coaching. And when we went to the Hall of Fame, when I got inducted, we played in Memphis, we played in Louisville, and we played in Canton. And we took 7 busloads of kids, and we played games all the way through. We did everything with them kids. We had school. We rented schools in the summer, and we ran it like a training camp. So I've been Coach Prime for a long time. The country is just getting to know that guy.
Right.
But we've been doing this for a long time, and we love it. I mean, it's not a job. It's not a chore. It's something we love to do.
I'm still trying to get my head around the idea that Coach Prime is just out to like an average dad sitting with a cooler, huh?
Yeah.
That's hard for me to even imagine.
Yeah, I had the drinks, and I had all the little snacks and the stuff, and I was just trying my best to stay out of the way, but I couldn't help myself.
So coaching your kids like you have, you got Shiloh and Shador on your team right now. There's a lot of awesomeness, I would think, that just about that every day being involved in their lives that way. What's the hard part about coaching your kids?
It's not.
No?
It's not a hard part about coaching your kids. It's a blessing. I mean, it's a blessing to really get to go out there. And I'm never down, because when the defense is on the field, Shiloh's doing his thing, and the offense on the field, Shador's doing his thing. Right. And, you're waiting on special teams. That's the only Selah you kind of get. But I absolutely love it. And that's all I know. I don't know no other way. They don't know another way. I've always coached them, in football, baseball, and basketball. We have so many athletic memories. Sure. It's unbelievable.
Well, I was going to say, too, being that you were such a multi-sport athlete, did you ever encourage them to go anything, or just say, hey,
no, that's the family job.
Yeah.
No, you're going to do that. You're going to play sports. That's what we're going to do. It's the family job. That was the expectation. Bill Gates, he going to give a computer to his kids. Like, let's go.
Sure, I understand that.
Yeah, let's go. So that was the family job. But my thing with my kids, I told them, you don't have to be the best, but you got to give me your best.
Okay.
So I want you to go at it, go hard at all times. If you don't want to go hard, we have no business doing that.
Now,
'Cause
I was going to say the boys have ended up being football players. Did you want them to be baseball players at all?
they play baseball all
they?
the way through.
Yeah?
Shiloh can play. Rick and I talked about this. Like that's my dream.
Right.
I want to be so dominant here. I mean, we're going to be so dominant that we're going to pack the stadium. We're going to sell out all our apparel. We're going to do this. We're going to be on television. We're going to make so much. Yeah. Yeah. We're going to command so much revenue for this university that we're going to add a baseball team. Yeah.
Man, now you're talking.
That's the dream. That's the dream. That's the goal.
That has, they used to have baseball years ago.
Right.
Right. And that is, I've been here 20 years now, and that's the one thing I get asked about all the time. Can we get a baseball team?
That's
back?
the goal.
So,
That's the dream.
You're talking their language right now.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I would love that.
What sport were you better at, in your mind?
Basketball.
Basketball.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was nice. That's where the nickname came from. That's where the prime time came from. Yeah. We brought Richard Fain in. He's a banker. He grew up with me. He does investments, and he talked to our team about financial literacy and length, and they still reach out to him today. So we're always trying to encourage our kids to go in the right direction. But he named me primetime from basketball.
Yeah.
So we played football, baseball, and basketball together coming up from youth, and it was basketball that gave me the nickname.
So I have no doubt in my mind, being as dominant as you were physically in all the sports you were involved in, when did you play with the idea of maybe pursuing that in college?
No, not whatsoever, because I found out, and one of my dearest coaches who I kind of patterned myself after a little bit, as well as Coach Andrews, that was at FSU with me. He was tough and he was hard-nosed, but he told me after the fact, he hit all my basketball letters. Because I had football and baseball. I had football and baseball, and he didn't want that to interfere with anything I had going on.
Right.
So he didn't even give me basketball letters. I was all staying in basketball. I was like that, but I'm 6 foot,
Right.
it ain't too many AIs out there in Chris Paul's.
That's true, yeah. That's exactly
I think
right.
we made the right decisions.
And simply becomes a Hall of Famer in football and one of the great baseball players of all time as well. And I was a great coach for the University of Colorado. I should mention our Bus Primetime Show is brought to us by Aflac. Get help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover. Visit Aflac.com to learn more. We're going to take a quick break here at the Post Chicken and Beer. We'll come back on the other side, talk a little football with Coach Prime as we get ready for the season opener on Saturday at TCU. This is Colorado football from Learfield. University of Colorado football is brought to us by the Hiltons on Canyon. You're coming to Boulder for a game. Stay at the Hiltons on Canyon. Proud hotel partner of the Colorado Buffaloes. Back on Buffs Prime Time, presented by Aflac. Coach Prime here for one more segment. Out here at the Post, Chicken and Beer. We're out here every week for the show. You know, I think you've probably noticed about Coach Prime a little bit. He's got kind of a marketing mentality in terms of. So he just leans over to me during the commercial break and he said, "How long these breaks?" I said, 4 minutes. He said, "Well, let's get them involved next week." So next week, let's take a couple of questions from the crowd during the commercial break. So, see, so you can either watch it on social media or listen on the radio network next week. But if you're here in person, you get a little extra interaction with Coach Prime.
Awesome.
Yeah. Where'd that come from with you? I mean,
What do you mean?
The idea is you're always thinking about marketing and branding and
everything. No, just not just marketing, branding. Just elevating.
Right.
That's pretty much the thing. I think it came from my childhood. I was a dreamer, man. I mean, I dreamt a lot. My mother worked her butt off, and my stepfather as well. My biological father, Papa, was a Rolling Stone, so I spent a lot of time at the crib by myself.
Okay.
And I watched a lot of television, man. And I saw deep within the shows. I mean, I saw different dynamics. I mean, it could be the Brady Bunch. I saw dynamics in the Partridge Family, All in the Family, Archie Bunker, the Sanford and Son, Good Times, the Jefferson. Like, I dissected that stuff, and everybody was just watching it for entertainment, and I was just watching it for the dynamic.
Okay.
Because they always gave us a problem, then they gave us a solution. Now these shows never give us solvency. They never give us solutions. Back then, you always had the solution at the end of the show, or it was to be continued.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so that's what we try to do. I try to just bring solutions to the problems that presented by us in the country. That's what I try to do.
Okay.
Just bring solutions.
So that's always the lens you're trying to look through.
I'm trying to fix something. Yeah, instead of complaining about something being on the floor, I just pick it up. Then I just try to fix it so it don't happen again.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of that, you've come in here and you've picked up a football program. You're trying to fix that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about where we're sitting right now?
I feel really good.
Yeah?
I feel really good. I know some of you got a little hot up on the collar when we had to do what we had to do, but we had to do what we had to do because we didn't want you acting like you were been acting and upset like you've been upset. But it wasn't a good roster.
No.
And I'm not going to be shy about it. You know, I don't sugarcoat nothing. I tell you the darn truth. Even if it's your cousin or relative or whatever that do. And you know something that they don't know? Let me tell them
What's
this.
that?
And where's Flea? I just saw Flea over there. We can atone to this. Honestly, they talk about how many people left and how many we discarded. Mm-hmm. We probably had meetings with probably only 20 people.
Is that right?
The rest of them quit.
Okay.
They quit.
So after that initial meeting, they made the decision to leave.
No, like the meeting was to say, with 20 people, this may not work. We're going to go in a different direction. The rest of them quit before that. They didn't even have a chance to have the meeting. Like it was like a pack of people at a certain time. Like they got together and said, guess what, guys? We're going to quit tomorrow. We're going to stick together, right? I'm like, who does that? That happened right before the spring game. Like all the defensive linemen quit.
Yeah.
Except for, probably 3 or 4 of them that we brought in. But honestly, that's what was happening.
Yeah.
So we were getting blamed for guys quitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was awesome. And like, how can you do that?
So as you sit here today then, with all the turnover you've had, the way you've rebuilt this roster,
Yeah.
you feel like you've got everyone's rowing in the same direction.
I
Right?
don't feel like I got. I know I got what I got. I don't feel. That's emotions. I'm not emotional when it comes to this game. Like I'm adamant. I understand and I'm defined. We have a formula. It's 40-40-20. 40 grad transfers, 40 out of the portal, and 20% high school. That's it. That's been our formula for the last 3 years. It is going to continue until we flip it. Now we could say, okay, now let's go 30% high school. Okay, now let's go maybe 50% grad transfers because they're older kids, they're more mature, they're more defined of what they want out of this game. Mm-hmm. You got a lot of high school kids, you got to figure out who they are. And then right when you figure out who they are, guess what happens? They jump in the portal.
Right.
Because they're not happy with the way we coach. We're a bunch of old school coaches. We don't sugarcoat it and we don't placate it. We tell you how it is. Like we're like old school parents. That's who we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, now you got parents negotiating with kids, trying to be the kids' friends and trying to be the homies. We ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
It's going to be like this or it ain't going to be.
You know the old line, I told my kids this, I'm sure you thought the same way. I said, you got plenty of friends. You only got one father.
Here you go.
Right?
And I'm not trying to be your friend.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be that. One day you're going to wise up and say, you know what, he was telling me the truth.
Yeah.
Whether you like the way the presentation was or not. And I ain't got time to be tweaking my presentation.
Yeah.
My presentation is how it is.
Coach Prime, when you got here and Shedeur came along with you, and we saw some of the highlights from down at Jackson, and
Right.
he looked like a great quarterback. I've said watching him in person, he's more impressive than I thought he was going to be.
Why?
Well,
let's digress now. You talk about my son now.
Right.
Okay,
No.
This is not Coach Prime. This is my son. This is dad.
right, exactly.
I'm just joking with you.
And
Just joking.
I didn't mean as a short. I just you know the way
but
our world works.
you did.
Right.
You did. You thought this is what you thought. Just because he came from an HBCU, he didn't have it. You got to understand, these guys that came with us, they chose to go.
They did, yes.
To an HBCU. They didn't
Right.
have to go. Shedeur was a 4-star quarterback. He could have gone anywhere, but his problem was he's impatient like his dad. He didn't want to wait. He's like, I ain't waiting 2 years to get on the field during the field. He could have went to Alabama. I'm not waiting 2 years. I want to play right now. So he chose FAU because he had a relationship with Willie Taggart
Okay.
that derived from FSU. When he was going to go there, but the coordinator that we're playing against this week was there, and he didn't treat him kindly.
Okay.
So it's a lot of blood in that thing.
I was gonna
It's
say,
a lot of
little-
bad blood in that thing.
Yeah.
So Shedeur was like that.
Yeah. Well, I knew he was recruited highly. I knew he was a highly regarded athlete. But I've been in this a long time. I see a lot of highly regarded guys that never quite pan out. So when he got here, I guess I got a little Missourian in me. I want to see it, right? Show me.
Right.
He's awful impressive.
Right.
What do you love about him as a quarterback? I mean, be the coach, not the dad. Right
He's
now.
rock steady.
Yeah.
Shedeur don't fluctuate. He's not up and down. Like what you're going to see, and you're going to see, it's a tradition of ours. It started, in high school and even before that. We walk from the sideline to the goal line right before kickoff. And on the way there, I'm his dad. On the way back, I'm his coach.
Interesting.
So what we talk about on the way there is totally different what we talk about on the way back. And we've been doing that for a long time.
Yeah.
So Shedeur have only played in his life 4 games without me, and that's when I was hospitalized with these blood clots in Jackson. So he's never seen nothing other, but I know what he has. I know how he was raised. I know his thought process. I know how serious he is about the game. And he doesn't play about this game.
So you talk about walking down as a father, coming back as a coach. During the game, is it hard to separate that?
No.
No?
I'm coach. I mean, it was one practice. It was because I was behind the defense, and Shiloh's the free safety, and he went out and did what Shiloh does. He's really physical. He blew someone up, and he just started cussing him out. I said, Shiloh, I'm right here. He said, sorry, Dad. I'm like, I'm right here. But honestly, that was the first time I've ever heard him talk like that.
Is that right?
Yes. Now, I heard Shedeur slip when we were in high school. That's when I first heard him use profanity.
Okay.
We were in high school, and I was down there, I was the offensive coordinator then, going over everything. And he was just letting his offensive line have it. And I heard some words that I'm like, son. Like, I got to do what I got to do, Dad. So they change a lot.
Right.
They change a lot. And as the game approaches with Shedeur, he gets more and more serious and more certain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On game day on the sideline, obviously you as the head coach, how vocal are you
Very.
with your coaches?
Very.
Are you?
I mean, I have the headset on and I hear everything that's going on and I implement what I want what's going on. But a lot of my work is done through the week to prepare.
Sure.
In preparations. I mean, you'll see little things on the sideline. You're like, what is that for? Where's the flag? Because I need to know what yard line we need to get to for the 3 kickers. We got 3 kickers that are phenomenal, and they all are different flags. And I know who's really good from that side, that in the middle, and this hash. And you got to know those personalities of those guys. And I could see and feel my guys, my team. I know Xavier. I know when he needs the ball, when Jimmy needs the ball, when Travis needs the ball, when all the guys, when Ford needs the ball. These guys are, and sometimes when you just calling it, you don't see all this stuff, and you have to be reminded. Like sometimes I would tell Coach Kelly, it's 3rd and 5, go get them. That means let's go blitz them. Ain't got time to be scared. Let's go get them.
Okay.
It's on me. And if it don't come out right, I take the responsibility in the press conference thereafter. But oftentimes it does.
I think a lot of times when somebody is a great athlete, I don't think the general public understands. Number one, you're gifted, but number 2, the effort and time and study that you guys put into it. I've heard Prime in an interview years ago. You were talking about playing against Jerry Rice or somebody, and the study that you did to pick up the intricacies of kind of some of the tells.
Yeah.
Is that same quality that's
Yes.
translated to being a
This
coach?
is college football, man. College football is much more simplistic than the pros. The pros
Sure.
are, oh my God, you may have three things going on the defense to stop the offense at one time. College football is a little more predictable. So you to us. So
Sure.
So that's why when we make moves, you know, like bringing the two what do we call them? Everybody got a name now. The analysts in.
Yeah.
You know, when you bring Dennis Thurman and Pat Shermer, why would you think I would bring those two in? Because they have a plethora of NFL experience. They see the game a whole lot different. Sometimes high school coordinators see it as college coordinators see it as a college. And I need guys to see it at another level as well and have that blended in, because that's what we're trying to do. Today, this weekend, we're playing against the same darn offenses. You know, a tempo offense.
Yep.
And they're playing against the tempo offense. It's like the same coaches. So we've been preparing kind of the same way, but the tempo. And the thing about it, you want to slow tempo down.
Yeah.
You want to say, okay, call a darn play now. Okay, call a play.
Right.
Okay, you may see somebody go down and they may be injured or they may not be injured, all right? But we're going to stop that tempo. But because we want them to really think back and call a play, because a lot of those guys, it's tough for them to dial it up under pressure.
You just referenced TCU a little bit. Give us last thought here. Give us a quick thought about TCU.
I like what they have. I adore the coach. I mean, when he got the job, he really rallied the community, rallied the inner city, and tried to put his footprint everywhere. And I like the hiring that he had down there. And I love what he accomplished at SMU. And just what he accomplished last year was fascinating. You know, as a young coach, you sit back and try to watch that, and you saw some guys on staff, the strength and conditioning guy is one of the best in the business. So I knew him, and I was going to hire him on my staff at one point. But this guy's phenomenal, and I love his interaction with his young men. They accomplished the unthinkable, the unfathomable. Yeah. So just having that track record, but the spoils of winning, you lose a lot of players. So they lost a lot to the NFL. They lost some in the portal. They gained quite a bit from the portal as well. But it's not the same team that went to the national championship.
Sure, it's not.
No, we plan on taking advantage of those inconsistencies.
Again, that's a 10 o'clock Mountain Time kickoff. 11 o'clock down there in the Central Time Zone in Fort Worth. Is Prime and the Buffs will take on TCU. Coach, next week we'll take some questions during that commercial break. All right?
We will. I appreciate you all.